So now we're going to talk about 5-to-1 mechanical advantage. As we've discussed, because it is an odd number, all right, our rope is going to be tied to the load, okay? So remember, it's actually secured to the load. So from here, on the load, we're going to go to our progress capture. In this case, the Grigri. My twisty beaner. Up to my anchor. Alright. So essentially what I have here, right now, the way this is a 1-to-1. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and put in my prusik. This is something you have to realize with these smaller sewn loops. Sometimes the spine gets in the way. That's okay. So here we are. All right. Pulley in. Now what I have here, you'll notice, is my 3-to-1. Okay. So now we need to go back to the anchor. For that change of direction. Now, this is where it kind of gets confusing for some people. All right, bear with me. A lot of people want to put another prusik here with a pulley. All right, and they want to say that that is their 5-to-1. But when you count mechanical advantage, it's not. All right, and we'll talk about that when we get to compound 9-to-1. All right, what needs to happen here is instead of using a separate prusik, we're going to go ahead and get our second pulley. We're going to go all the way back to the same carabiner here. Okay, so let's count this out. I've got one force coming in, one force coming out. All right, that puts one here all the way down on my green. One coming in. This doesn't move. I've got one coming out, one coming in, one coming out. Now, or excuse me, one coming in plus the one that's already on here, so that's two coming out. So I got two here. So I got two coming out, going into here. This doesn't move, so we got two coming out. So two here plus the two that's already on the green, plus my load is 5. All right, and this is my 5-to-1 mechanical advantage. All right. Now, just to kind of give everybody an idea with what's going on, this bag here weighs about 13 pounds. Okay? So now, that didn't want to stay, did it? Let's get this in. Get my clove hitch in. So now that my clove hitch is in, let's start pulling. I can actually get my clove hitch to stay. Oh, this is embarrassing. All right. It's ugly, but it's going to get the job done. So now as I start to pull, we'll get it all the way off the ground. Close enough. And what you can see is we pulled about 5 pounds. Now, so we can obviously see that there is a true mechanical advantage, but things we need to remember. One, it's friction. There's going to be friction loss here, even in these pulleys, okay? And not all pulleys are created equal. I have these kind of mid-level pulleys that we're using here, but I could be using high efficiency pulleys, all right, like the Omni blocks. The second thing is also remember, as part of the mechanical advantage, for every 1 foot I'm raising or pulling the load, I have to pull 5 feet of rope. And that's the same for any mechanical advantage. A 2-to-1 means I got to pull 2 feet of rope for every foot of movement. 3-to-1, I got to pull 3 feet of rope for every 1 foot of movement, so on and so forth. All right. And what ends up happening is if you're making this big elaborate system where you're getting this like exorbitant amount of mechanical advantage, what ends up happening is you run out of rope because you have whatever the distance is to your load, and then your system that now you're having to go back and forth. And you know, if you're trying to do this in a couple of pulls, you know, you're trying to make your working area here as big as possible. But if you don't have the rope, you're going to make this very, very small, which means you're going to have to pull, reset, pull, reset, pull, reset, pull, reset, pull, reset, which just ends up taking more time. And then the question is if we set up a system that has less mechanical advantage and put a few more people on the haul team, does it actually work more in our favor? So just something to think about, but that's the 5-to-1. Click like, subscribe, let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully you got something out of this, and then next up we'll cover the 9-to-1, and you'll see the difference. All right.